Okay, I have my lace overlay pieces right sides together. I have them pinned with some very thin, sharp satin pins, and I'm about to sew the center seam. Now I have placed a piece of tissue paper underneath, and this is going to help the lace not get sucked down into the feed dogs. I'm going to use a regular straight stitch at the standard length. My machine automatically defaults to 2.4. Pull the back stitches to secure it. And I'm just going to slowly go forward and sew a 1/4 inch seam. Now on my presser foot, that means I just line up the cut edge along with the edge of the foot. I'm not pulling at all, I'm just making sure that the lace is staying very flat. I'm trying to keep the scalloped edges matched as best I can. Okay, do a few back stitches here. Okay, you can see it's sewed through the tissue paper, and I'm just going to carefully tear it away. Hold my fingers down near the stitching, provide some tension so I don't distort the stitches. Okay, our lace overlay is finished. Okay, I have finger pressed open the seam allowance, and I have prepared the front piece here. This is the Hellebore high cut, and I've marked the center with a pin, and I'm going to align the center seam at the top of the lace overlay with that pin. And I'm going to try a new product today. I learned about this through the Great Bra Sewing Bee from Sue from Bra Builders. She suggested it. This is a temporary spray adhesive. I usually use Adhesive 505, and while I like it, it seems like it doesn't really wash out. I think on the bottle, the Adhesive says that you have to dry clean it to get it to come out, and I don't dry clean my clothes. So this spray is supposed to just like disintegrate or something, and it's non-toxic. So I would rather use a product like that. So we'll see how it works. So I've set my lace overlay on a piece of paper so I don't get spray adhesive on my sewing table. And I'm just going to flatten this out a little bit. And, excuse me, spray. Okay, so sprayed it. Now, let's see if I can get it aligned. Okay, so I'm aligning the seam, the pin. Trying to keep this straight and make sure that those seam allowances are open. Okay, it's somewhat sticky. I might have to add a few more pins in before I sew. Okay, we're back at my machine now. I have set it for a narrow zigzag. I put it on 2.4 width and 2 length. You will have to see what works best for your machine. So I'm going to sew along the scalloped edge as close as I can without going over the edge. And I did add about 6 pins around the outside here just to make sure that it's really secure. Okay, if you have a knee lifter to lift up the presser foot, that really comes in handy here when we're trying to sew around curved edges. Almost ran over my pen, don't do that. Down at the bottom here, I think I'm going to trim my seam allowance just a little bit. I can see it's going to stick out. So I'll just lift up Do this very carefully. Don't cut a hole. I've done that before. Don't do that. Depending on where you cut your lace overlay in the lace pattern, you might get a sharp point, or if you cut it near the full part of your scallops, you might get kind of a rounded part. Just depends on how you cut your lace. Make sure this is all stayed nice and flat. Oops. There you are, lace overlay. Okay, I have two other motifs to show you here. I had just a little bit of the lace left over after I cut out this front lace overlay, and I saw there were two whole flower motifs left. So I decided to cut them out individually, and I'm going to put one on each side of the front of the panty here. And as you can see, they're mirrored. It just happened to turn out that way. And I've already attached these, as you can see, with the adhesive spray, and I sprayed a little more heavily than I did on this center front lace overlay, and it seems to be sticking much better, so I just needed to spray a little bit more. And now I don't need to use any pins, so I'm just going to continue with my narrow zigzag and attach these flowers to the front. And I just wanted to show you these individual flowers in case you hadn't thought of cutting single motifs out of your lace. And here is the finished panty. I'm really pleased with how it came out. I think the lace overlays look so pretty, and I just happened to have fold over elastic that matched the color of the lace.